All right, welcome back. As you know, today is 9/11, and a year ago, Ambassador Chris Stevens, Ty Woods, Glenn Doherty, and Sean Smith were killed by Islamic terrorists in Benghazi. The victims' families are still searching for answers and justice. Sean Smith's mother and uncle are unhappy with how the administration has handled the situation. They spoke earlier.
He promised me face-to-face at the casket ceremony he would give me answers. He did not. I don't know what you want me to say. I did not get any answers yet. There is nobody in Washington giving me any answers other than the media.
In some ways, it's a little too late. You know, I want justice, but I also want truth and accountability. And that's been missing in action for the past year. The Obama administration has been dragging its heels.
So those are grieving people that are asking for answers. And it seems, Kimberly, that the government doesn't seem to have, they don't feel an obligation to get answers for them. I think that they are hoping that this story just goes away, but here we are a year later and, of course, still talking about it.
It's so embarrassing. It's so shameful. I feel horrible as an American that this is what has happened to these family members that have kindly asked for some answers, that were promised that face-to-face, and still no justice, no answers. And how about the recognition for those heroes that fought so valiantly, waiting for backup that never came because a stand-down order was given? To me, it's shameful. Something should be done about this. Benghazi should never be forgotten. As Americans, we shouldn't allow it. Then it's an injustice that we allow to prevail that should have never happened to begin with.
Well, there was a development today, and Steve Hayes of Fox News and the Weekly Standard got a scoop yesterday about a letter that John Brennan sent to the House Intel Chairman Mike Rogers, who's been asking for an opportunity to talk to some of the survivors. And this is Steve earlier today with that announcement.
The Weekly Standard, we got a letter that John Brennan sent to House Intel Committee Chairman Mike Rogers, answering some specific questions about claims that, you know, some of the Benghazi survivors had been forced to sign non-disclosure agreements or forced to take polygraphs. Brennan denies those allegations. And then in the most interesting part of the letter at the very end, Brennan says, in effect, I will help put you in touch with all of the survivors.
What do you think brought that about, Eric, this development?
I don't know. I'm trying to, so we understand. So these survivors that everyone's been looking for and wanting to speak to for a year now have had to sign disclosures that that they will not disclose what they know, what they don't know, and they were pretty harsh. If I remember right, they were getting leaned on pretty heavily not to say a word about what's going on. They would be held in contempt and things like that. So they laid off. I'm trying to figure out why they're going to let it happen now. Very interestingly, too, Dennis McDonough, Chief of Staff, Chief of Staff of the White House, tells Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday, you don't know what's going on. You don't know how much we really know, and we're about to get these guys. Well, it's a year. How about you tell us? How about you let us know how close you are, what you have? Do you have leads?
Why should they let you know?
Because, Bob, you're ready to go kill someone in Syria on one hand without all the information, but we're a year into this, and allegedly a year into an investigation. You have a lot going on behind the scenes, and nothing's happening in Benghazi.
You Benghazi conspirators, theorists, first of all, we don't know what's going on. You can't call it an injustice when you don't know what exactly they're doing.
I know that we don't have the answers we should have, that it's taken way too long, and that they've been disrespectful to the dead.
Wait a minute. Most of the conspiracy theorists have said these people had to take polygraph tests, they had to do this. They didn't have to, and now they're going to be sent to Capitol Hill where they'll be under oath, and if they lie about not taking a polygraph, then they're subject to be indicted. So the fact is that they weren't polygraphs. They were not doing all these horrible things that the right wing said they were doing.
Why couldn't they talk to begin with? Why the delay?
Why?
Why the delay?
Because they're trying to put together a case. That's why.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Greg, Bob says that there are conspiracy theorists when it comes to Benghazi. I have a theory.
Yes.
That the White House has done some polling. They've figured out internally that the only people that care about this are on the right. And so we can just weather this storm and wait till it goes away.
I think that's a good theory, Dana. I'm quite surprised you came up with that. What it is FNC Cooties. This story has FNC Cooties. It is a victim of it's a victim of a media that refuses to do a story in which FNC and a guy like Eli Lake at I think it's Daily Beast, who are covering this, constantly, and they're stubborn. It's a personal matter to them. I'm not doing that story if the conservative media is doing it. I mean, seriously, why nobody's asking where Hillary Clinton is in all this? She's Waldo in a pantsuit, and she has more baggage on this than Louis Vuitton. I don't know how she's going to get the nomination unless the media again does her the favor of not talking about it.
You don't think she gets the nomination
So
because
far
of
they have.
Benghazi?
No, I actually, a little convoluted there. If the media actually followed this story, she wouldn't get the nomination. But they're not going to follow it, so she probably will.
Why is that?
And they haven't
find out what?
Because it's Hillary Clinton in 2016, and if you don't think that's everything this has to do with protecting her and the Clintons making
the blaming the denial of the request for security by the ambassador. Brett Baer will report tonight on Special Report. I believe that they have indication that went up to the highest levels. Now, the highest, I don't know. But there's that part. And the second part is the blaming of the video, which turns out to be a farce. And she repeats it and tells the family members in Delaware, at Dover, when the bodies were flown back, we're going to get the guy who made this video. And it was it was made up story from the beginning.
But I think they finally owned up to that.
No, because they wanted to make sure that it was viewed as being spontaneous uprising based on a video, not something that was a plan in the works.
I think they've testified that was not the case, and they accept that. But this was plain and simple a way to get through to the election. That's why they kept it quiet.
I agree.
But that's why then is it a conspiracy theory?
That's a scandal.
You know what's not a conspiracy theory, Bob? What is a reality is that someone had to give the stand-down order. Now, whether you like it or not, that stand-down order, and we find out who gave it, changed the military. Ask military people.
But what does Hillary Clinton say?
That's the one thing that bothers them the most about Benghazi. Isn't about the other stuff, the video. It's that someone gave a stand-down order. It changed the way we do military, the way we've done military for 237 years. And Benghazi, someone in the administration changed things. They left 4 people in
Can you tell me
why ISIL with 22 hearings has not been able to figure that out yet?
Because they haven't been able to provide them. In fact, that's why this is a significant development that Steve Hayes reports, that now they are going to be able to. So we're going into the second year, and there will be a hearing next week that Daryl Issa chairs. And I love how a team works together, because I had 3 things, and then I had one of those moments where you forgot the third thing, and you remembered it. It was the stand-down order.
Good job.